back on South of the Border Baseball. I'm Chris Perry here with Ramon Lee and Gabriel Partridge. First thing we're going to talk here is MVPs. Gabriel, what are your predictions for the year?
For the AL, I believe Mike Trout is having an outstanding year. He's got 29 home runs. He's one of the top leaders in RBIs. The hits numbers aren't there this year, like usually, but he's still having a great year. But he's my front runner for the MVP.
Ramon?
I agree with him. Right now he's the best player in the MLB.
Yeah, I mean, he recently won All-Star Game MVP. He's been tearing it up. He's a 5-tool hitter, threat in every category, and the Angels are having a pretty decent season, largely due to him. So, I mean, I think he's a really good candidate for the AL MVP. NL's a bit more open. So, Gabriel, what are you thinking for the NL
I believe
MVP?
Andrew McCutchen is having a great year. He won the MVP last year. So, coming off that great season, he's having another good one. What do you think?
I think you're correct.
I personally would like to disagree with you too. I'd say Bryce Harper's on a Nationals team that's obviously very good. They're commended for their pitching a lot, but I feel like Bryce Harper's really carrying the team offensively. He's got a great average, hitting for a lot of power this season. So I think he'll be my NL MVP. Let's move on to Cy Young winners. Obviously in the NL we have Zach Greinke. Give me a little more on why you think he should win it.
I believe Zach Greinke is having an outstanding year. He's got one of the longest streaks in MLB history of 48 innings pitched without giving up a run. Although in the All-Star game he gave up that home run to Mike Trout, that didn't go against his regular season stats. But all in all, he's having an outstanding year. I believe he's going to win the Cy Young in the NL.
Ramon?
I believe he's going to win the Cy Young too.
I would say Zach Greinke's obviously he's flirting with records here. I think he's approaching the innings pitched record, and then he's got 6 starts without giving up any runs, which I think is tied for the best record in the MLB. So I think that Greinke's definitely got the AL on lock. But again, for the NL, the Cy Young is a lot more open to interpretation. Gabriel, what are you thinking?
I think for the AL, Sonny Gray is having a great year, and he's doing it quietly too. He has one of the best ERAs, not only in the American League, but in the MLB. And he's got a few strikeouts. And all in all, he's a great pitcher. Last year he showed it in the playoffs, and he's showing it now in the regular season.
So I think that David Price, for me, is my AL Cy Young. He's coming into a contract year. Obviously, he's going to be a free agent. There's a lot of talk of him moving to contender, with Detroit kind of out of it, just like Oakland is with Sonny Gray. But obviously, David Price is a lot older. But he's 9-3. He's got a really low ERA. He's definitely backing up the reason that the Tigers should have gotten him at the trade deadline. And speaking of the trade deadline, rapidly approaching us this year, who do you think is going to be dealt and why?
I believe that Cole Hamels is not staying with Philly to finish off the year. I see that the Red Sox would be a good front runner to pick him up. Their staff isn't doing so great this year. They're among the worst in the league in ERA, runs allowed, and not great numbers for that Red Sox team. So I believe they can pick up Cole Hamels, and then Johnny Cueto is also on the market as a free agent because he was waived by the Reds. So I believe those 2 arms would be key additions to the Red Sox staff.
So obviously there's a lot of pitching on the market. Price that I mentioned earlier, Cueto, Aroldis Chapman, Cole Hamels, but there's not that much hitting. So I mean, there's a couple impact bats. Jay Bruce I've heard a lot of times. Obviously Cincinnati's not having the greatest year. They've got a lot of assets. Any other names that you've heard been thrown around?
Well, like you mentioned, Aroldis Chapman, I believe that the Reds will keep him because he's having a great year with them as their closer. But for the future, they might need to free up some cap room for like better seasons to come. So don't be surprised if you see Aroldis Chapman on the move this year.
Okay. That's all we have on South Side of the Border Baseball here. I've been Chris Perry, Gabriel Partridge, and Ramon Lee. Thank you.